Hi folks, many of us have been there. Genius product idea, great prototype, investors on board and ready to change the world. But now, what is your validation strategy? I've seen great engineers ducking away when this question comes up, pleading their case. Well, because, I created this awesome product and it works. What else do you need? Yes, first of all, you did create this awesome product and it works here, now, and under these exact lab conditions. What we want is that it works anytime, anywhere, under all conditions that it was designed for. And that it works for an entire lifetime with the same great performance. But that's a topic for another video. And so is the handling of unexpected failure cases. For today, let's talk about functional validation strategy. Alright, let's get started. First, you have to define the levels of validation your product is going through. For simplicity, let's say you have a system consisting of two components. In that case, you need a validation strategy for the component level and one for the system level. Fortunately, the questions are the same for both, just the answers might be different. The first step is to define the inputs required for this level. For example, requirements approved, software compiled and unit tested, hardware sample available, and so on. So basically everything you need to get started here. Now you need to define outputs others can expect from this level, such as test report in this and that format or tool, bug reports in the form of tickets, and so on, so that the work in this step can be tracked and is sure to have a right impact. Okay, so the ins and outs are defined. Next is the execution method. Is this level of validation done manually, semi-automated, fully automated, or maybe mixed? Talking about execution, naturally, you have to define the execution priorities. Of course, you want to run everything always and immediately, but in reality there are certain tests you want to run in the very beginning to check your test worthiness of your system. Only if these tests pass, you go ahead to the next priority group. And then there are other tests in the lower priority group because they go into deeper resolution of certain features and you do not want to run them every day. Ideally, your priorities are dynamic, so that the features that were impacted by code changes or hardware modifications are getting a higher priority in the next execution. Priorities will also play into your regression test strategy. Another thing you want to clarify up front is the test success criteria. When is your test run done and successful? You might say 100% of tests pass. Well, it's not that easy. Granted, that would be great, but first of all, if you only run one test and that test passes, you will successfully pass this criteria, but it's for sure not sufficient. Okay, so 100% requirements tested and passed? Well, that's great. And for some systems, this is the right answer. Highly complex mechatronic systems make it a little harder. And if you're dealing with AI or AV products, it is impossible to reach this. So you have to come up with a different criteria, like risk-based evaluation. This is a different video all by itself, though. Now, there are a few points on the list that are only indirectly involved with the validation, but are essential for the planning, execution, and the success of it. First is the tool chain. How does the end-to-end tool chain look like? How does the development tools integrate with the validation tools? How and where is the reporting done, etc. Also, what kind of test systems and communication systems to the DOT are you using? How can you streamline the cost of procurement and development of test systems? Second is the roles and staffing of the validation team. Even if you have all of the above in pristine conditions, without the right crew, there will be zero chance of success. Unfortunately, validation teams are usually a little neglected in early project planning, and it is sometimes overlooked that highly skilled and specialized engineers are needed to tackle the modern complex mechatronic validation challenge. If you're in charge of building a powerful validation squad, make sure that you're on the staffing plans right first thing. And since you're already dealing with administrative things, make sure the timeline for preparation and execution is well communicated in your larger organization. Validation can and will add significant amounts of effort to the development timeline, and you want to be clear that this time is budgeted accordingly. Alright, cool. So you have all those things in place, up in your head? Great. Write them down into a validation strategy document and you're in a good shape. Or you're now even more scared than before and you don't even know where to start? iProcess is here to help you by asking you the right questions, providing the best guidance and templates for you to make your product validation a success.